We're coming at y'all real quick with a brief little video. As I told y'all once before, every time I see stuff that, is very important, I'm going to point it out. I'm going to do everything in my power to keep this little video kind of short. I want to stay 10 minutes or less, so I'm going to keep my eye on the counter because I don't want to go too far into this. It's just a little news article that I'm going to read. Ain't going to be no video or nothing, but I just want to point out a couple of things with this. Number one, about people who still don't know their rights when it come down to their automobile, to their private automobile. Okay, automobile is considered to be private when it is not used for, it's not used on the public roads to make money. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. An automobile is considered private if it is being used on the public roads to not make money, meaning you're just going from point A to point B. You're not using those roads to make money. You're not a taxi. You're not an Uber. You don't drive a cold truck and, all these different things, right? Now, I just found this article somewhere. I don't even know how the hell. I guess it must have been, I don't know. It was meant for me to see this article. But I want to point out to you guys about how people still don't know their rights when it comes down to their own private automobile. And I most importantly want to point out to you guys about how they want to make it impossible for you to travel by way of automobile. They want to price you out of an automobile. Let's read the story real quick. It say in the first 12 days of November, Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman said 52 cars were impounded under the new law. Okay. It said, and I imagine they're not laws. All right. But we know all of that. I'm going to try to, stop from interjecting with that because anybody who follow my channel, y'all should know they're not laws. It say in the first few weeks since a new law went into effect, the Aurora Police Department impounded dozens of cars. The new ordinance, Aurora Municipal Code. See how they play games? You went from a law to a municipal code. Again, people, to the trained ear and to the trained eye. See, I already know what municipal mean. Do you understand? I already know what municipality mean. Do you get it? This is the reason for why y'all always hear me tell y'all do your own research. Any and everybody that's ever attended any of my Zoom meetings will tell you that even in the Zoom meetings, which are private, I would tell people do your own research. This is why you keep hearing me say to the trained ear and to the trained eye. That's why y'all keep hearing me say it. How you gonna talk about a new law just went into effect and then you go into the new ordinance? You go from the new law to the new ordinance, Aurora Municipal Code 134-37. It's like, wait a minute, do you see the word porn? Can you say fraud? This is word fraud. This is language fraud. All right? For anybody that study language, they know this. They know it, man. Let's say like you're a person who know different languages or whatever. You know right off the back that this is porn. This is perversion. Anybody who study parse syntax or whatever, anybody who's familiar with the guy David Wynn Miller, okay? Anything like that, y'all know that this is fraudulent, man. This is literally fraud. This is categorized, there's a categorization under fraud for language. This is why y'all always keep hearing me scream fraud. Fraud is a crime, regardless of what aspect of where you're being fraudulent. And that includes, in this case, with language. This is language fraud. You can't go from the new law went into the fact to the new ordinance. It's like, okay, well, now, wait a minute. Are we talking about something different? You see what I'm saying? This is the reason for why, like I tell y'all, like, I don't read books. You know what I'm saying? I don't read books. When I read books to destroy the author. This is what I mean when I say that. Remember I told y'all in one of my videos, I said, man, I used to get into it with teachers when I was in school back in the day when you had to do the language composition and all that other stuff. You had to do book reports and, they would call on you in the class to read a passage and then you would have to explain to the class what the author meant by that passage you just read or whatever. I used to shred authors in school, and I'm talking about in 6th and 7th grade. I'm talking about at Vanderpool with Kanye West, man. I used to destroy that shit in the classroom and get into it with the teacher over it. Straight up. This is why I don't read books and shit. Because I can point out the bullshit in the blink of an eye. You went from a new law to the new ordinance, and then you said a municipal code. It's like, well, wait a minute, man. We got to be talking about something completely different if that's the case. These have to be literally two different categories, and they're not. It was passed on September 23rd during an Aurora City Council meeting. It says officers must have a car towed away and impounded if the car's registration is not up to date, the driver does not have a valid driver's license, and they don't have insurance. It's a 3-strike rule designed. You went from a law to a municipality to a code to a rule. It's the 3-strike rule designed to increase compliance with driving rules and regulations. You done broke a motherfucker all the way down to a child. We just read one paragraph, one section of this shit, and they just took you from the law, which is supposed to be supreme, and they just kept chipping away, and we get down to the bottom, and you literally are a fucking child. It's designed to increase compliance with driving rules and regulations. Rules and regulations and shit like that is for children. Statutes and codes and ordinances and shit, that's for corporations. You know, we know this already because Lone Wolf done broke it down for you. He done pulled up motherfucking companies' EIN numbers. He done pulled up companies' DUN numbers and shit. He done showed this shit to y'all. You know that this is a fucking corporation. I've encouraged you all to go to Google and put in Dun and Bradstreet search. That's it. And click enter. And when it come up, they're going to give you the search joint. For Dun and Bradstreet, you go there, you put in the name of the company or whatever. Sometimes you have to play around with the name of the company too, because they bullshit a lot. Sometimes you may not be able to type it in and get a hit exactly the way it's wrote on there. You may have to switch the words around. You may have to reverse some shit or take something off or whatever the case may be. But you play around with it. You put whatever state is in. If you know it for sure it's that city, you can put the city in there, whatever. And you click enter, man, and they going to tell you here, man, give me your email address and we're going to send you their information. And when it gets to your email address, it's going to have the name of the company. It's going to have the registration that they gave Dun and Bradstreet. And it's also going to have their Dun and Bradstreet number. So we know they're a corporation. We already know this. If you fuck with me and you follow my channel, you know that this is a corporation. Like I told y'all, the reason for why I can still ride around with plates on my car, despite the fact that in their bullshit, it say that they own my shit. The reason for why I can still do that and get away with it is because I can expose the fraud. You can challenge jurisdiction at any time. Anytime. And when I challenge jurisdiction, I do two things. One, I challenge their authority. And two, I point out that they are fraudulent as hell. Now, in the first 12 days of November, Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman said 52 cars were impounded under the new law. It's a problem much bigger than people think, Kaufman said at the council meeting in September. I hope this sends a strong message. A strong message about what? That y'all just fraudulent as hell and just completely take advantage of people who don't know absolutely nothing? Because that's the only message that you sending. You sending a message to me with the trained in, the trained out that, yeah, we just gonna keep screwing motherfuckers because they don't know nothing. It's all the same meeting, council member Crystal Murillo raised concern that the law would create an even bigger burden for people who don't have valid registration, insurance, or driver's license because they don't have money to pay for basic necessities of owning a car. And that's true. That's getting to the part about how they literally trying to price you out of being able to have an automobile. Keep in mind, they don't want you to go nowhere. They want you to have the smart cities. They want you to have the digital IDs, and they want you to put chips all up your ass so they can just scan it and do whatever it is that they need to do. It's all connected. That's why the insurance keep going up. Here it is, your insurance premiums keep going up, and for the people who keep paying despite they shit keep going up, when they need to use the insurance won't even fucking pay. If cost is an issue, then cost is just going to keep piling up, and they're never going to be able to pay for insurance registration, etc., said in the meeting. The ordinance applies only to cars that are pulled over by police. APD cannot impound someone's car just because it's parked somewhere with an expired license plate. Well, in my opinion, none of that shit matters because it's all fraudulent as hell. Again, I'm just pointing all this out to go to show you where they going at with this, man. Now, this is in Aurora, Colorado. This ain't even in Illinois. You know what I'm saying? This is in Colorado. This is what happened, man, when you keep letting people just do whatever it is that they do to you. It's just that fucking simple, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would be on the hook if they did that. The cops, the court, and the impound lot. If you do some shit like that to me, everybody gonna be on the fucking hook. And one of the best ways to do it, you should pay them. And then just send all that information to the IRS. And especially if you go about it the proper way and they still don't give it back. You know what I'm saying? You go about it the proper way and they still don't give your shit back to them. Oh yeah, pay them and just, let the IRS know what they did. After you tell them in the beginning, this is what I'm going to do to you if y'all just say, fuck me. I'm going to pay you, and then I'm going to put them bulldogs on you. This is original Lone Wolf, man. I kept the shit under 10 minutes like I promised. Much love to y'all, man. Pay this shit some attention.